For sure. That's a crazy storyline, but also so is this. So the Mavs secured the number 1 pick in the 2025 NBA draft, ultimately setting them up to receive Cooper Flag. So given the crazy season that they've had, people are obviously saying like, oh, the NBA is rigged. There's no way. Yeah.
That's crazy.
You're saying the NBA is rigged. So what are your thoughts on them having the number 1 pick? And then does it seem like everything that happened to them this season was worth it?
Actually, I think it's wonderful that Dallas, because I get to go back to Dallas. I get to go back to Dallas and watch the games front row. I didn't say it was my team. I said I get to go back to Dallas. I actually have the plug and the Mavericks. So definitely I'm looking forward to that. And then what would be more crazy if Luka goes back and they get rid of Nico and now they got Anthony Davis, Cooper Flag, Kyrie, and Luka they would get a championship. And my boy Clay cut his hair. So who knows? The old Clay might be back. I'm hoping the haircut got some symbolization to it. And that he turns into the player he used to be, at least a glimpse of it. It would be great for the Dallas Mavericks. They would love it.
I'm not one big on conspiracy theories. I'm not one of them type people and all this shit. But this is wild. I'm not going to lie. I'm not really big on, this conspiracy, they setting shit up, this, that. But this is kind of wild. I'm not going to lie. You know why? Because I have a friend that lives in Dallas, a friend of mine. And she's telling me this, this probably 10 years ago, a long time ago. And I know we got Dak Prescott now, but they were really big. A lot of black people, and I can't say a lot, the black people I knew used to be like, this city don't want nobody but white stars. If it ain't a white star, this, that, third. Look at Tony Romo. He ain't this to Tony Romo. He ain't shit. And and Dirk Nowitzki. And they want white stars. And when I seen Dallas get the number 1 pick, that's all I could think about. It was when she told me that shit. Nigga said, all right, cool. We got Anthony Davis, we got Kyrie Irving, but where's the white at? There's just no white. And now you got white.
Yeah.
Not just white, you got American white now. You got American cheese. You got Dirk Nowitzki, who's from Germany, and then, of course, Luka's overseas, and those were 2 white superstars. But now you got a homegrown white superstar. So I was kind of mad. My team is the Spurs. We got the 2nd pick. I was looking at it like, nigga, if we get this, because it was us in Dallas, the last pick. And I was like, damn, if we get this Wemby, Fox, and Cooper, it would have been smoking. But I ain't gonna lie, Dallas looked like they back. We'll see what happens, man, because one thing that we do know about Cooper is that he performed really well. And I know it was only practices and scrimmages against the Olympic team, but he performed of the best American basketball players that we had. When they was talking about him last summer when he was practicing with the Olympic team, how he was the best player on the court. When you're talking about Kevin Durant and LeBron James and Steph Curry and Anthony Edwards, so on and so forth. I'm not saying they were playing full speed, but that's all the biggest talk was before the Olympics start, was Cooper. So he was there tonight. I seen his face. He said he was excited. He was just looking, but he knew he's number 1 because he was in the building. The craziest shit about tonight, though, with the lottery, last night with the lottery, was that they had Zion there representing the Pelicans. And I said, Zion really going to still be here with the Pelicans? Why would y'all send him to be the representative for the Pelicans when he ain't play? Zion got about 6 games with the Pelicans his whole career. He been there 6 years and played 12 games. Of course, I'm exaggerating, but I'm just saying. I wouldn't have sent Zion. I don't think Zion's staying. I don't think he's going to be there. But he was there. He was a good sport. I don't really have too much to say. And like I said, I don't want to dig into the conspiracy thing. But Dallas, y'all got another white superstar or potential superstar back in the city. It didn't even take long. It was like about 3 months y'all didn't have one. And now y'all got one. But I know one thing. That nigga Nico is like, woo. Thank God.
Yeah, Nico was out.
Nico, like, oh my God, thank you. He a nigga need to come to church Sunday.
Nico need to send an offer.
Yeah, he definitely need to send it because that's like, woo. Because the fans that was angry, they might be like this right now. Like, all right, we can live with that. You know, a little attitude. We'll see what happens, but we can live with that.
You off the hook for now.
Yeah, you off the hook for. That's a great way. You off the hook for now, nigga.
Yeah, I was thinking about it. If Cooper Flag would have went to the Spurs, who team would it be? You know, and that's something that probably the NBA probably thought about. They said, "Nah, give it to Dallas." Because if you're number one pick and the guy before you was the number one pick, it becomes a clash of whose team it is because everybody would think Wemby. But if I'm the number one pick, I want to go somewhere where it's going to be my team. And even with Dallas, they're older stars, but they're going to have to act like it's his team.
Yeah. And I just wanted to add for Dallas, it's not even just on the NBA side, also the WNBA side too, because they got paid. So they have a lot of good young superstars there. But one thing for you that's actually pretty exciting for Spurs fans. So obviously they had the second pick. The third pick is the Sixers and the fourth is the Hornets. Basically, for the first time in his career, Giannis explained that he's open-minded about exploring whether his best long-term fit is remaining in Milwaukee or playing elsewhere. So with the Spurs having the second pick, they have a lot of tools to kind of work around to kind of get that. So Mase, can let you go first. Is that something that you could see happening?
Giannis on the Spurs? That would, if you put Giannis on the Spurs, my goodness. Him and Wemby would be a nightmare for the NBA just with them two alone. Would you trade Fox? I really like Fox, but for Giannis, I would have to part ways with Fox. And then you would have to give up the shooting guard. And these are great guards in the future. These are guards, castles that's really gonna make a difference in the league. So you would be giving up some talent there. But when you talk about those two foreigners being on the same team, on a basketball team such as San Antonio, oh man, that would be amazing. That would be amazing. I would have to do it. Pause. Killer, you would take Giannis on the Spurs for Darren Fox, Castle, and the other guy?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
And two future picks.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's about Milwaukee. Will Milwaukee want that? Well, you have to. If I'm the GM of the Milwaukee Bucks, I'm sitting there saying that I have to have something to get back. You're potentially thinking about or hearing about that my superstar, how old is Giannis? 28, 29 maybe, superstar, 30, global superstar doesn't want to be here. I'm getting everything I can get. That may not be enough. And we know his contract's not up. But you don't want a disgruntled and unhappy player not playing. We see what Giannis did in these playoffs. His numbers were spectacular. And he's like, what more can I do? Players are hurt year after year. I'm trying to make sure that I'm healthy. He got hurt last year. You're bringing in Doc Rivers in the middle of the season. Milwaukee Bucks, not saying they look dysfunctional, they're just not looking stable as an organization right now, and it's not necessarily their fault. They're trying to get it done. They try and bring in a Kyle Kuzma for Chris Middleton. That didn't work out. You try and bring in a Damian Lillard and get rid of Drew Holiday. That didn't necessarily work out. You get rid of Greek Freak's brother. We don't know what you're doing with Bobby Porter. Look, they look real dysfunctional, and Giannis is probably sick of it. And he's doing what James Harden and them do. This is really like a nice way to say trade me. When niggas be like, yo.
I'm open to it.
Ask me, tell you to ask them the question. You ask me if I'll be open to leaving Milwaukee. Are you open to leave Milwaukee? Yeah, I'm open to it. That's how it starts. And that way you start hearing the mumblings, and then niggas from Milwaukee organization hear that pick call Giannis, Giannis send on the voicemail. Look, that's the way it is. To be honest with you, I heard Giannis just bought a house in New York, in Southampton. Think about that. Think about what the Knicks may give up, depending on how this series goes right now, or the rest of their season, what you would give up for Giannis to play in New York. Imagine Giannis in New York. You know, what's going to happen is the next month, weeks and months to come is a lot of speculation. I'm not going to get excited about him coming to the Spurs. I would love him on our team. But it's going to be a bunch of teams in there. They were talking about before Dallas got it, would you give up their number one pick to get Giannis? So basically not saying that this will happen, but think about this. Think about if you sit there and say, well, if you're the Dallas Mavericks and you're doing business with the Milwaukee Bucks, and you sit there and tell the Milwaukee Bucks, yeah, I'll give you the number one pick for Giannis. Now Milwaukee may want to fuck with that because you have a potential superstar to build around if you get Cooper.
Yeah.
But imagine Giannis right now on Dallas with Kyrie, with Anthony Davis. That's a potential very, very, very big problem. So
they won't have their white boy superstar.
Yeah, but if you're trying to win now, you can win now. Who would you rather have now, Giannis or Cooper?
No, I know Giannis.
I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. The race situation, but I'm saying
Nico will be back.
But I'm saying is this: if
Nico pull that off, he'll be back.
If I'm the Dallas Mavericks, this is something to really consider.
Yeah.
Now, like you said, you want to build for your future. So getting rid of Luka and getting Cooper Flag is like, good, this is what we could build on for the future. We got it. But then they also be pumping, we traded Luka because we're trying to win now. So if you're trying to win now and you got the number one pick and you're not worrying about building around a nigga in 4, 5, 6 years,
Cooper Flag and Clay.
What would you do? I'm asking you, I'm not even talking about that. What would you do? Asking you. If you're the Dallas Mavericks and you say, yo, Milwaukee Bucks call you and be like, yo, give me that number one pick, you got Greek Freak. What are you doing today?
Cooper's out of there. I don't know what he's gonna be.
That's what I'm saying. I know what I'm getting.
Yeah, I think he's gonna be great.
Yeah.
I do think he's gonna be great, but this is more proven right now.
Exactly.
You put Giannis with Kyrie and Anthony Davis. They'll steamroll through the
I was just about to say it's almost, and I ain't gonna necessarily say it's almost if Clay show his face. Pause. You're almost looking at a Golden State when KD was there.
Yeah.
You're almost looking at that potential situation. So I may do that if I'm Dallas. I may be on the phone with Milwaukee saying,
hey, what y'all thinking?
Yeah, you know, you got somebody next 10, 12 years, nigga.
Talk to me.
Yeah. That's something to really think about.
Nothing is off the table.
Yeah.
So aside from the Spurs or the Mavs, and say he doesn't stay with the Bucks, what team do you guys think would be a good fit for him? Just hypothetically speaking.
Hypothetically, who knows? The Lakers may have some money for him, you know. The Lakers, it just seemed like they could do anything, you know. Forget the cap space, forget all that when it come to the Lakers. I would love to see Luka and Giannis in LA if that was any way possible. I know it's a real far-fetched thing, but when you think of a talent like that, an iconic talent, you want that talent to be in a big market. And the Giannis talent belongs in a big market. It's kind of underserviced in a small market. If you could get him in LA or you could get him at Golden State, that would be another place. You know, because right now they got a new GM at Golden State. He might not really want to keep talking to Draymond and all of them. He might be ready to make a move. And I think with the way that a lot of these other players have played in Golden State, they have some assets they could put with it. They get Giannis at Golden State because they got to pair Stephen Curry with somebody that's going to really get it done in order to be a formidable opponent out of the West, because it's not just you're a good team. Everybody then got better. So, yes, Stephen Curry is still who he is, but everybody's getting better. And then everybody gets a new player next year. Well, Minnesota's going to be even tougher next year when their guard play get older. So I would like to see him at LA. I would like to see him in Golden State, somewhere in California.
Yeah, you're right. And listen, Steph Curry's on the record saying he's not playing at Golden State without Draymond Green, but only two niggas with no trade clauses is Bradley Beal and LeBron James. I don't know where he's going to play. That's going to be speculation for the rest of the off season and season. The thing about it is this. Is what niggas is willing to give up, and not just willing to give up. Do Milwaukee want what you have? So we can sit there and speculate. Oh, he's gonna be good on this team, they're on that team. But how's he gonna be good if they're giving up somebody good as well? I don't want to play this game and be guessing where he gonna be good at because we don't know what somebody's willing to give up for him. Let's say, for instance, niggas talking all this, he come to New York, he just bought a house in the Hamptons, yada. The Knicks potentially go to the Eastern Conference Championship or championship. Do you really want to break this core up as good as Giannis is? They didn't even make it to the next round. Do you want to break up a team and say, okay, we'll give you Mikal Bridges and XYZ, and look, if they already going to the Eastern Conference Championship and potentially a championship, I'm not breaking up chemistry for a superstar. Sometimes superstars don't equal chemistry. So we'll sit here and speculate all season where he could potentially go and where he could potentially be, but that's all is going to be speculation because what is a team willing to give up to get him?
Pat Riley will give up Bam and Tyler Hero for Giannis. You get Tyler Hero and Bam and whatever else they need, bring them to Miami because it's a location people want to be at. Then, Kevin Durant is on the move. So now you put them two in Miami, you got a whole different team. People will go and play with them for the league minimum. And you could turn this team around in one move. Pat Riley, get on it.
Well,
the whole thing about it is, that's my point.
Yeah.
Milwaukee may be unreasonable. Be like, no, what else you got? Your wife available? Send her with the niggas. This is what I'm trying to tell you is that you don't know what
send
Milwaukee.
Eric Spoelstra with you.
Yeah. That's why. And the Tooth Fairy too. I left some money under my pillow. Milwaukee may be mad unreasonable and be like, yo, what else you got? Because this isn't a regular player that doesn't want to be there anymore.
Right. That's what I was just going to say. We're just going to have to continue to speculate because we don't know, but these are good options. So we'll see what happens. We're going to go to break. When we return, we will get into the Warriors versus the Timberwolves. Don't go anywhere.
What you want, nigga? Everything, nigga, super size. Two Big Macs, like when they doing them 2 for $5.